Imagine this. You're walking down a quiet, rain-soaked street, the kind where the lamps glow softly in the mist and every footstep feels heavy with meaning. Now, before we dive in, if you're listening to this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this are meant to be shared, and you won't want to miss the next one. If you carry me up the stairs, I'll tell you a secret, said the sick little girl. Those words came like a whisper, fragile as the child who spoke them. She was maybe 8 years old, with pale skin, tired eyes, and a voice that trembled as though it didn't have much strength left. And the man standing in front of her wasn't anyone extraordinary, not a doctor, not a hero, just a mechanic. His hands were stained with grease, his clothes worn from years of hard work under engines and machines. His name was Samir, and though he had spent his life fixing cars, on that night, he was about to fix something far more important. Samir hadn't planned to meet the little girl. He had been called to a broken-down taxi at the edge of town, and while walking back through an old apartment block, he heard the soft sound of coughing from the stairwell. He found her sitting at the bottom step, shivering in an oversized sweater, too weak to climb. "Are you lost?" he asked. She shook her head slowly. "I live here. I can't make it up the stairs today." Samir hesitated. He wasn't the type to get involved. He lived alone, worked late hours, and carried more burdens than he cared to share. But something about her eyes, the way they carried both pain and hope, made him pause. "Which floor?" he asked finally. "Fourth," she whispered. "But, if you carry me up, I'll tell you a secret." At first, he almost smiled, thinking it was just the way children bargain. But when he bent down and lifted her into his arms, he realized how light she was, as though life itself had been drained from her little body. Step by step, he carried her, his arms trembling not from her weight but from the heaviness of her fragility. By the time they reached the 4th floor, the girl's head rested against his shoulder. He knocked on the door she pointed to, and an exhausted woman opened it, her mother, eyes swollen from sleepless nights. She gasped at the sight of her daughter in a stranger's arms. "Thank you," the mother whispered, her voice breaking. "She has a heart condition. Some days, she can't climb." Samir placed the girl gently on the couch, and just as he turned to leave, the little one tugged on his sleeve. "Wait," she said. "I promised a secret." He crouched beside her, trying not to show how much she reminded him of his own younger sister, whom he had lost years ago to sickness. "What's your secret?" he asked softly. She leaned closer, her voice faint but filled with certainty. "The doctors say my heart is weak. But I believe, if someone carries me when I'm tired, it beats a little stronger. Not because of medicine, but because of kindness." She looked into his eyes with a depth far beyond her years. "That's my secret. People think I don't notice things, but I do. Kindness heals more than anything." Samir felt a lump in his throat. He had spent years believing kindness was a luxury he couldn't afford, that survival meant keeping his head down and working hard. But in that small apartment, with that fragile girl's words, he realized something he had forgotten. Life wasn't just about fixing what was broken on the outside. Sometimes, it was about carrying others when they couldn't carry themselves. From that day, Samir returned often. He would bring groceries, fix broken lights in the apartment, even make the girl laugh with funny stories from the workshop. Slowly, the bond grew, not of blood, but of shared humanity. And though the girl's illness remained, her spirit seemed brighter, as if every act of care gave her a little more strength to keep going. One winter evening, as snowflakes fell against the window, she whispered again, "Samir, you know the first day you carried me up the stairs? You thought I was giving you a secret. But really, I was giving you a gift. You didn't just carry me, you carried yourself too. You remembered what love feels like." And in that moment, Samir understood. He had found a new kind of family, one he didn't expect, one that gave his own weary heart a reason to keep beating strong. The little girl's health didn't magically recover. There were hospital visits, difficult nights, and quiet tears. But there was also laughter, warmth, and a sense of belonging that no illness could take away. And when she was too tired to climb the stairs, Samir was always there to carry her, not just physically, but with the promise that she wasn't alone. So, if you take one thing from this story, let it be this: sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest truths. Kindness, even from strangers, can turn someone's darkest climb into a journey filled with hope. And maybe, just maybe, when you carry someone else, you end up lifting yourself higher too. If this story touched your heart, give this video a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that remind us what it means to be human. Because at the end of the day, we all need someone to carry us up the stairs once in a while.